Hey folks, my name is Veronica and I'm here from Urbane Cyclist to tell you today about staying comfortable and warm while cycling through a Toronto winter. We've already got a video up on our channel with Owen taking you through selecting the right tires for your winter ride, choosing the best rim brakes, and performing basic winter maintenance, and you can check that out over here. But today, I'm going to be going over some of the other things you might want to consider as you move from cycling in the warmer months into the colder ones. Namely, I'll be talking about choosing the right gear, dealing with adverse road conditions, staying safe and visible, and adjusting your route. Cycling into the winter in Toronto is definitely a bit of a challenge, but it doesn't have to be. All you need is the right mindset and adequate preparation. Whether you're a seasoned winter rider or this is your first attempt at braving the elements, there are plenty of ways to stay safe, comfortable, and most importantly, motivated to ride during the colder months. The most important thing you can do while riding in cold weather is keep yourself warm and comfortable. You'll want to wear plenty of layers that you can add, unzip, or remove to keep yourself at a comfortable temperature, and you'll want to wear something to protect your face and ears from the wind. In terms of what kind of apparel you'll want, it's ideal to have some kind of moisture-wicking base layer, many additional warm layers, and a waterproof shell on top of it all, both on your top half and your bottom half. Having a moisture-wicking base layer is important because as sweat accumulates, it'll become cold and bring that cold right up against your body. Making sure your layers are drawing that moisture away from the skin becomes a priority then. As you're riding, your core body temperature will rise naturally from the exertion, making the real challenge ensuring your extremities stay warm. One strategy that many winter cyclists approach this challenge with is covering up with smaller items like arm warmers and leg warmers that can be added and removed easily while riding. These small pieces go a really long way in regulating your temperature. Your face and ears are going to be the parts of your body that are exposed to the wind the most. Having a good breathable layer covering your face and ears will be helpful for preventing chapped red skin. And if you do end up getting chapped skin, preparing yourself with a rich moisturizer before you leave the house and making a point of reapplying helps keep it all comfy. Other extremities you'll want to watch out for are your hands and fingers and your feet and toes. For your feet, if you're someone who typically rides clipless, winter might be a great season to consider putting on some big platform pedals so you can ride with boots. If you pair some waterproof footwear with some thick, cushy merino wool socks, your toes will be thanking you. Wind and waterproof gloves will help you from feeling the cold, but by adding in a pair of handlebar booties, you'll also be making sure you can stay out there for longer. It's also great to have several different pairs of gloves to alternate between, or even layer. Having one pair of warmer insulated waterproof gloves and perhaps another more breathable pair to alternate between means you'll be staying comfy in all conditions. The addition of handlebar booties will stop the wind from hitting your hands at all, meaning you can have a lighter pair of gloves on and maintain dexterity. For longer winter rides, you might also want to use hand and foot warmers to extend the amount of time you're able to spend outside, and you can also keep those inside the pogies. Handlebar booties also have the additional benefit of keeping your bike's shifting and braking hardware nice and toasty. You can check out the description below for our recommendations on socks, gloves, and pogies. Cables and housing can get moisture trapped inside them and freeze, so having something protecting them is very helpful. You could also consider seeking out a bike that has hydraulic disc brakes. Without any cables that could be potentially exposed to the elements, you're much less likely to encounter any mechanical issues. Additionally, both dot fluid and mineral oil have a freezing point of -40 degrees Celsius. So in Toronto, even though the temperatures might drop to a point that affects the efficacy and modulation on the hydraulic brakes, it's unlikely to drop to a point where it freezes completely. And if they do, it's unlikely that you'll be on the road riding if it does. Other things you might want to think about when putting together your ideal winter bike are considering an internal gear hub. This will help protect your shifting because all of those moving parts will be housed internally, protecting it from the elements. Finding a bike with disc brakes is another consideration, even cable-actuated mechanical disc brakes. The first benefit is the increased stopping power that they offer and brake modulation, and the second is that they clear dirt and debris more easily than rim brakes. Check out our other video on disc brakes for more in-depth information. Preparing yourself goes a long way to making a winter ride comfortable, but it's even better to know when to call it. Leaving the house early to give yourself a chance to find alternate routes, as well as taking the time to slow down while you are riding, can make your overall riding experience more relaxed. Keeping your own personal limits in mind will make sure any ride you choose to go on is an enjoyable one. No matter how you set up your winter bike, keeping it clean is crucial to preventing rust and freezing. You can have the nicest, most brand new winter bike out there, but if you're not removing the snow, the salt, and the dirt, you're going to be spending a lot of money on repairs that you would not need to otherwise. Before the season, performing preventative maintenance will be your best friend. Greasing your seat posts, all your bolts, and lubricating any other moving parts, or getting a full winterization service from your local bike shop will give you a head start on beating the winter and overcoming any mechanical issues that might arise. Once the season begins, however, cleaning it off anytime you go for a ride will have to become routine. Once salt gets on your bike, it eats away at your paint and the frame, and the dirt will grind into the braking surfaces and gears, along with wearing into your chains. Moisture will also be your enemy. Melted snow and ice will rust and corrode anything made from metal on your bike, so almost all of it, and you'll want to prevent that from becoming an issue. Special areas that tend to go oft neglected with winter cleaning are underneath the bottom bracket and under your fenders. The frequent cleaning will also give you the opportunity to check for loose bolts and stay on top of any other potential issues. And of course, with the extra cleaning, you should be making sure to re-lubricate all of those moving parts, especially the chain. In wet conditions, it is most appropriate to use a wet lube. Dry lubes are designed for dry conditions, like you might see in warmer months, while wet lube is designed to stay on the chain even while wet. This also presents another reason to clean regularly, as wet lubes tend to collect and hold on to dirt and grit. With the colder weather, we also get longer nights and shorter days. Choosing lights that have higher lumens will help cars see you from farther away, giving them the opportunity to stop a safe distance and give you more space. Brighter lighting will also make it so you can see farther and anticipate obstacles too. Something that we say often here on the sales floor is that there is no such thing as a light that is too good. The biggest factor with visibility is not just your own lighting, but street lighting as well. It's a good idea to choose a more well-lit route with less motor vehicle traffic and looking into roads that are more frequently maintained and well plowed. The City of Toronto has put together Plowtio, a map with a real-time plow tracker. It'll tell you where the street plows, sidewalk plows, and salt trucks are at, while showing you the roads that already had their snow cleared within the last 12 hours. Give yourself a little bit of extra time before you leave to perform any research prior to riding, and take additional time to do some scouting out in advance. Some trails and paths also don't receive any winter maintenance, so keep an eye out for signage. You should ask your local bike shop for advice on routes they recommend and roads that they think you should avoid, or talk to other winter cyclists for their advice. You can also leave your favorite routes and least favorite routes in the comments on this video. Of course, with winter weather, you'll get wet and slippery roads no matter how well maintained they are. There are tons of ways to adapt your tires, such as selecting wider tires with more tread, or for icier conditions, finding studded tires that fit your frame. While our other video goes into more detail about the specific tire brand recommendations, here are some general recommendations. You'll want to find a tire that will be able to grip the snowy ground and keep you steady in less than ideal conditions, but not with treads that are so deep and knobby that they bring the snow back up and trap it under your fender or front fork while you're riding. There's also often discussion around whether you need studded tires during the winter as well. Studded tires will give you the maximum amount of control in all types of weather, but can be a bit of overkill when conditions aren't icy enough to warrant having that level of grip. The studs can also present additional challenges like decreased friction across metal surfaces. This can be especially dangerous with streetcar tracks or metal manhole covers hidden underneath unplowed roads. Studded tires also have a break-in period. They should be ridden gently at first, and aggressive braking should be avoided during this initial period. If proper care isn't followed, the studs can fall out. While it is quite common to lose a few here and there across the course of the season without any loss in performance, improper braking in can lead to this being much more exaggerated. When selecting any tire, you'll also want to look at the center of the tread pattern along with the overall profile of the tire. Is it more square or is it more rounded? That will determine what part of the tire and how much of the tire is making contact with the road. With squared off profiles, you'll have the advantage of a focused edge and more bite into softer ground. The area making contact with the pavement should have a more tightly packed pattern to avoid picking up the snow, grit, and dirt and depositing it under your fenders. On that note, getting a set of fenders is also a great way for avoiding a streaky, mud-spattered backside or building up snow across the back of your bike. Even with the best route and best tires, things like fishtailing on wet and slippery roads or encountering challenging pileups of snow at intersections end up being inevitable. It's most important to handle these inevitabilities with confidence. If you're anxious, you're more likely to overcorrect, which is even more dangerous. So it's important to just stay cool. Winter cycling can be a fun and fulfilling way to stay active and continue to explore the city. Riding your bike in the winter can help you maintain the routines you established during warmer months and can also be rewarding and enjoyable with the right gear and preparation. Don't let winter weather hold you back from commuting, running errands, or enjoying a leisurely ride. So grab your bike and get out there.